President Bola Tinubu has announced the immediate reopening of Nigeria's land and air borders with Republic of Niger, along with the lifting of other sanctions imposed on the country. The decision follows the directives of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government made during an extraordinary summit held in Abuja on February 24, 2024. At the summit, ECOWAS leaders collectively agreed to lift economic sanctions against several West African nations, including the Republic of Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Guinea. Additionally, President Bola Tinubu has authorized the lifting of financial and economic sanctions against the Republic of Guinea, signaling a broader effort towards regional cooperation and normalization of relations. The decision is expected to foster improved diplomatic ties and facilitate economic activities between Nigeria and its neighboring countries, promoting stability and prosperity in the West African region. And to help unpack this, I'm joined live on the news by Bolu Michael B., a foreign policy analyst. Good afternoon. Glad to have you join me.
Good afternoon. Nice to be here.
All right. Let me start off by asking you, do you think President Bola Tinubu's decision to reopen the border was influenced by pressure from Nigerian businesses impacted by the closures?
Well, I don't think, it has like a major influence on the decision of the president to lift the sanctions on Niger and other countries involved with ECOWAS. I think he's just doing the right thing, because often when international decisions are made, countries still have to go back to their respective homes to rectify them. And I think it's the right thing for him to do. And what he has done is what other presidents of other countries within West Africa would do. So sometimes it requires some of these things, depending on the nature of the decision made at the international level, it requires the parliamentary rectification and ratification. So the president doing that is just doing the right thing. I don't think what he's doing was expected of him. I don't think it's influenced by economic pressure. If we should look at the business dynamics between Nigeria and Niger, I think Niger probably needs Nigeria more.
In your view, how do you think the lifting of sanctions, impacts security cooperation between Nigeria and Niger?
Well, the concept of territorial integrity. Just imagine that there's a major police chase of a terrorist between Nigeria and Niger, and the terrorists, let's assume they are Nigerian citizens. And if there's a police chase, and the moment they cross the border into Niger, the Nigerian police force or the army have to stop. They cannot cross the border, but the people who are citizens will be able to cross. That being said, now that the lifting of the sanctions has taken place, there can be joint military operations to secure the borders. There can also be information sharing. Information sharing will be enhanced. So I think the lifting of the sanctions is expected to enhance security between Nigeria and Niger Republic.
I know you touched on this a bit earlier, but in a much broader spectrum, how do you think the resumption of trade flows between Nigeria and Niger will affect economies of both countries? Do you see any potential challenges in the areas of benefit to either of the country?
Okay, I'll start with the challenges. I think that there might be a situation whereby there's a smuggling, if it's not already happening because of the closure, but it can now be emboldened, by the lifting of the sanction, and of course, black market trading, black market activities might increase. But on the flip side, there are potential, positives in terms that the people who live between Niger and Nigeria usually are subsistence, so they can have. The Nigerians can have access to Nigerian foods. Nigeria can have access to Nigerian goods such as livestock and and other foods that they have to offer. Nigeria, and Niger, can I expect that there will be an increase in job creation and general economic activities.
Well, you talked about job creation, also food, food, goods and services moving across both countries. What about the long-term implications for Nigeria and Niger relations?
Over long term, it creates a friendly atmosphere. Now that there are no sanctions, no bad blood, no major tension by virtue of the lifting. It creates room for the diplomatic talks on any issues, and economically, of course, trade will be enhanced. The friendliness, neighborliness, the benefits of neighborliness, good neighborliness generally, will be enhanced for the long term. However, in terms of trade, there's a likelihood that there might be some form of trade issues between the two countries which can lead to some form of tension. However, we've not seen that in the last couple of years between Nigeria and Niger, and based on this precedence, it's expected that things will remain so and there won't be any trade tension by virtue of economic activity between the countries.
All right, this is where we call it a wrap. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on the news. Bolo Michael B., foreign policy analyst, thank you once again.
My pleasure. Thank you.